So who's responsible for this ceasefire deal? Is it Trump or is it Biden, the Democrats? Who did it? For the last, year, 15 months or so, we've had this war. Well, it's not really a war. When you think about a war as two militaries fighting one another, this has been Israel, funded by and supplied weapons by the United States, specifically the Biden administration, committing genocide and wiping out the brown people, the Palestinians. That's really what this is. We can't really call it a war, even though the Israelis and Netanyahu and all the pro-Israeli, pro-whatever are suggesting that, well, it's a war against Hamas because of what happened in October and all. Yes, that was a horrible, horrific terrorist attack committed by Hamas. But the outlandish, ridiculous response by Israel, which has been nothing short of, again, genocide, it would seem that you would think that this would want to be ended, right? And it looks as though Biden is claiming credit for this. There's actually an interview where Biden gives a statement, right, through the White House. All right, let's get into it. Time to Talk podcast. We're going to get into this ceasefire deal, which I'm not sure has any real substance to it, or if it's going to last. It's not going to last. I will say, though, that I do think Trump deserves the credit on this one. But let's get more into it. So the statement from President Joe Biden yesterday from the White House. Today, after many months of intense diplomacy by the United States, intense diplomacy, like we've really been working on it. What did AOC say back? And Harris, we are working. Working day and night on the You liars! You're liars. Today, after many months of intensive diplomacy by the United States, along with Egypt and Qatar, Israel and Hamas have reached a ceasefire and hostage deal. This deal will halt the fighting in Gaza, surge much-needed humanitarian assistance to Palestinian civilians, and reunite the hostages with their families after more than 15 months in captivity. This is Biden saying, I laid out the precise contours of this plan way back when, May 31st, 2024, after which it was endorsed unanimously by the UN Security Council. It is a result not only of extreme pressure that Hamas has been under and the changed regional equation after a ceasefire in Lebanon and weakening of Iran, but also a dogged and painstaking American diplomacy. My diplomacy never ceased in their efforts to get this done. Even as we welcome this news, we remember all the families whose loved ones were killed in Hamas's October 7th attack and the many innocent people killed in the war that followed. It's not the war that followed. It's a genocide that followed. Mostly women and children. I think, 70,000 dead at this point? Believe that's the count. And most of that is women and children. Let us not forget. It is long past time for the fighting to end, you think? And the work of building peace and security to begin. Anytime you hear that, it's bullshit. So I'm also thinking of the American families, 3 of whom have living hostages in Gaza and 4 awaiting return of remains after what has been the most horrible ordeal imaginable. Under this deal, we are determined to bring all of them home. I will speak more about this soon. For now, I'm thrilled that those who have been held hostage are being reunited with their families. I call bullshit. That's what I call on this. Look, here's the deal, right? This is all Trump's doing. Now, I neglected to mention that Biden actually did appear on camera, and Biden gave a press conference of sorts regarding this and taking credit for this deal being brokered. And at the end, a journalist asked him as he was walking away whether or not who should get credit. Should Trump get credit? And he turns around and goes, "Are you kidding? Is that a joke?" No, it's a serious question. And the answer is clearly this was Trump's doing. Let's just lay this out. Let's just lay it out. First of all, this puts Trump obviously in heroic, unprecedented status, right? As a president-elect coming into office, he's going to officially be in office in 4 or 5 days, on Monday, right? So you could call him what you want. You could hate the guy. Again, I'm not a Trump supporter or MAGA member, but real recognizes real. Let's just say it like that. If he got this done, which he did, then all credit is due to him. You can't take that from the man, right? Now, my personal take on this is that it is an orchestrated move because I don't think Trump is still very pro-Israel. Let's not get confused by that fact, right? He still in Netanyahu's pocket. He's still part of, AIPAC and Miriam Adelson, that whole, whatever, the whole backing. He's still pro-Israel, right? So this, to me, if I have to render an opinion on how this whole thing's working out, it's almost like a political sort of campaign strategy, PR move to look good right before he takes office, right? So the way this deal's been brokered, you had both the envoys, you had Biden envoy, and you had Steve, I think, Mitkoff, which was Trump's envoy, at the table doing this negotiation. But it really wasn't the Biden administration, and it wasn't their move to make this happen. It was Trump's move to make it happen. If you remember, he issued that statement. What did he issue? He issued that statement saying that, about a week ago, all hell would break loose if the two nations did not reach a ceasefire agreement by the time he returned to the White House on January 20th. Now, he hasn't explained what he means by that. But he did say last week it wouldn't be good for Hamas or, quote unquote, frankly, for anyone, which I think is irresponsible speech. I mean, really, when he said that at first, I was just like, whoa, dude, you're just promoting this thing even further. It's not good talk to be like, oh, there'll be hell to pay. Yeah, we're going to light up the place. Like, that's never good talk. But whatever he did, whatever screws he put to this, it worked. Biden's been sitting on his ass. The whole administration's been sitting on their ass, talking about they're working day and night or whatever. They're working tirelessly for a ceasefire. No, they're not. If they were working on a ceasefire and they wanted to end this, they'd stop sending money, they'd stop sending weapons, and they'd stop kissing Netanyahu's ass. But that's all the Biden administration has done. The entire time. There was a point where Biden issued red lines, and it was a red line. Don't go into, into Rafah, the refugee camp. If you do that, it's going to be hell to pay. Nothing happened. Netanyahu was like, really? Red line? Yeah, okay, whatever. Kiss my ass. Keep sending me money. So what did Biden do? Biden sent him more billions of dollars and more weapons to kill brown people, right? So they've had the opportunity to get things done, and they didn't get things done. So it's not a coincidence that a few days before, as soon as Trump gets involved and puts his fist down in whatever way he did it, I don't even care how he did it. I don't even care. For now, it's a win. I'll take that win. You don't have to be a Trump supporter. You don't need to like the man to recognize that, hey, if you can end that and stop sending billions of dollars to these people to kill brown people across the world and wipe out a population of women and children mostly, if you can stop that, dude, I'll shake your hand. I'll wear a MAGA hat for a day if it means you can do that. Now let's see what you do with Ukraine. Let's see how that whole thing goes. This puts him in a great position, and it really embarrasses the hell out of the Biden administration, which is why the Biden administration is now scrambling to basically, PR this themselves, to spin it their own way. Biden's got to come out and make a speech, say, yeah, we did it first. We're the ones, we've been working on this. We've really been working on it, so we got it done. I think any average person paying attention can see, well, yeah, but you didn't get it done until Trump got involved. He is the acting factor. He is the thing that made it happen. And everyone knows it. The world sees it. Let's take a look at the Wall Street Journal. Talks about this actual deal and the details of it. So I want to get into first stage of the deal would pause the fighting in Gaza and allow for the release of some Palestinian prisoners held in Israel in exchange for the release of 33 hostages being held in Gaza. The hostages to be released would include women, children, people with severe injuries, and those above the age of 50, according to a draft seen by the Wall Street Journal. Hamas would also hand over dead bodies. Yeah, so returning the bodies that was mentioned in the other report. The real test for the ceasefire could come after the first 16 days when the parties will begin debating whether to extend the pause into a permanent end to the fighting over the second and third stages of the deal. Yeah, see, that's the tricky part. Does this really last, or is this part of the PR campaign for Trump and for, from him, ascending into the office and, the inauguration and everything? And it's kind of like this is like a little thing to make him really, really look good to start his presidency. These stages would also include the release of all the hostages and eventually a plan to rebuild Gaza. Far-right members of Netanyahu's government have publicly denounced the deal, which they say will end Israel's war in Gaza without uprooting Hamas. Yes, so basically Netanyahu's people and the defense ministry guy, I forgot his name, and the Ministry of Warfare, they want to keep out wiping brown people out. Wait a minute, we didn't finish our mission of eradicating the Palestinians and the Arabs from their land. We didn't finish that yet. How are you going to do this deal? We need to get rid of these people. Yeah, we got to go after Hamas. We got to go after all the brown people. Let's kill more women and children. Yeah, let's do that. That's right. So they're not happy with this deal. But in recent days, Netanyahu has made headway towards shoring up support for the deal within his government, even without far-right votes, according to people familiar with the matter. Yes, Netanyahu has been like, yeah, whatever. But Trump must have put some screws to him. Trump must have had a conversation with him, told him what's up, did his whole, we're going to make a deal, we're going to do whatever we got to do. He did what he had to do with Netanyahu, and he got Netanyahu somehow to bend, something that Biden couldn't do. The terms of the agreement aren't substantially different from those that were available months ago when more Israeli hostages remained alive and before thousands more Palestinians lost their lives. Again, the Biden administration has had the opportunity to execute and make this happen, but they never forced Netanyahu's hand. They never forced it. They never made it's kind of like talk. It was all talk. Even during the campaign season, the whole thing with Kamala Harris, you never really heard anyone say, hey, listen, we're working on a deal, or hey, we're trying to get this done. Hey, we're going to really put it to him. No, never. It was always, we stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. Netanyahu came over to Congress and everyone stood up and clapped and backed him up. We stand with Israel. So, yeah, it's a similar deal. It's been sitting there on the table for months, but no one was able to get it done except for deal maker Donald Trump. And many people have died because of that. So let's put that in our collective consciousness that tons of people died, mostly women and children, because of the Biden administration and their ineffective ability to negotiate deals and to end a war because it serves their own interest. The several factors have pushed the parties closer recently. Both sides have been galvanized by President-elect Donald Trump's imminent return to office. The incoming president said a week ago, again, all hell would break loose, and you know the rest. So how does this look? What do we think's happening here? My worry, my concern is that as optimistic as I want to remain about how substantial this deal is, this ceasefire, and where it leaves the region, and kind of like what happens going forward with rebuilding Gaza, and the hostage exchange and all that wonderful stuff. Like, I want to remain optimistic that it has some long sustainability, right? Longevity. I'm just not sure. With America still being under the boot of Israel and Israel controlling Congress and Trump again being in the pocket, I'm not sure. I don't see that it's totally going to be like this, this moment of wow, oh, it's over and we're working out deals and the West Bank and all these things are going to be worked out. I just don't see that happening. We've got a war coming up with Iran, which is still going to be pushed by, there's so many things happening and so many things in the mix that this one thing, which to me, again, seems like a very orchestrated PR campaign to suggest that Trump is able to get things done. And hey, look, I'm able to do these things. And hey, look, I'm not pro-Israel, but we know you are. So it's kind of like it's a magic trick. It's three-card Monte kind of thing going on. So I don't know. I'd like to remain optimistic. I'd like to think it could get done. What I find most interesting about this is the Biden administration and their attempt to act as if this is all they're doing and they got it done. And what is that anyway? Is that just them on the way out needing a win? It's too late for your wins. You could have had your wins a long time ago. You chose not to take them, and you chose to commit genocide. You chose to aid the country that committed it. You funded it, you pushed it, you supplied them weapons, and you allowed them to do whatever they want. And now at the very end, you want to kind of leave office and be seen as a hero. You're not a hero. You're a war criminal. You'll always remain a war criminal. That's all you are, your entire administration. And I think I'm speaking, I'm not being too harsh. And I think we should, again, our collective consciousness, we should all remember and we should all think about the people dead, the women and children especially dead, mostly women and children, that the Biden administration is directly responsible for. Because you could say Israel, but Israel is basically the United States supplying them with everything, allowing them to do what they want and take over a region. That's it. Time to Talk podcast. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this deal and what you think is going to happen. Now, interestingly, also, I wonder what's next. Ukraine? Is he gonna deal with that? We're gonna stop sending Zelensky billions of dollars. How are we gonna handle that? Is he gonna talk to Putin? Is he gonna push the buttons on Putin? What's gonna happen there? He has a relationship with Putin, so he says, he always brags about. So at least they've got dialogue going, which is more than I can say for the Democrats and for the Biden administration. At least Trump's got some dialogue with Putin. Hopefully something could be worked out. And for those who don't pay attention, saying that it's a good thing that Trump has some dialogue with Putin and then something should be worked out does not mean I support Putin or think that Putin's a great guy. guy or think I'm pro-Russian. It simply is a matter of diplomacy and trying to keep world peace and not ending our planet and our our civilization. That's all that is. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this deal. Do you think it's going to last? If you've not subscribed and you are here, somehow you found me, subscribe. I truly, really appreciate that. We are growing this channel, and hit that like button on the way out. That makes a big difference. Go ahead and like us. Support the people who already support, the people who watch this, pay attention to my content and leave comments and likes. Truly appreciate you. I will see you on the next Time to Talk podcast. Peace.